Again, we take time out to welcome each and every one of you guys to the GMAP Broadcast Network. We are the number one faith-based, motivational, and inspirational broadcast platform in the country. We're located at gmap1.com, and as always, we are always excited when we have the opportunity to invite awesome individuals, our special guests, to our broadcast platform. And today is no different. We have one of our featured authors. Of course, Holly Johnson is joining us on today. Diving right in. Holly, good afternoon, and how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, if you have to ask me, I must be slipping. Come on now. I am always wonderful. Do me a kind favor if you don't mind. Introduce yourself, Holly. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from.
My name is Holly Johnson. My author name is Holly Rillard Johnson. I currently live in Colorado, but I also have a home in Sarasota, Florida. I've had a home and was a resident here for 25 years before doing the shift to Florida. I'm kind of a reverse snowbird. Most people are going to Florida in the winter, and I'm here because I'm an avid skier. And it's a very active outdoor lifestyle, which really appeals to me. And there's a lot of things to do in the outdoors, particularly with COVID, that presented all of us with some challenges.
Well, if you ever need anyone to go house sit in Florida, you just call me. I'll be more than happy to go house sit for you in Florida. We are grateful to have you, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule today to be here with us on GMAP Broadcast Network. For those that don't know, of course, Holly is one of our featured authors. For those that are paying attention to our broadcast network platform, our television screen, you are currently seeing a split screen with the current publication that Holly has disseminated. Of course, she can't see it, but you all can. So we want, Holly, if you don't mind, dive in. We wouldn't mind if you tell us a little bit about this publication titled How to Make Feeling Good Your Priority. Tell us a little bit about it if you don't mind.
Well, I had a book in my mind for a couple of years, and uh, being a running coach and fit life coach, in addition to my public relations and marketing career, I started noticing that most of what I did as a coach was 15% was spent on writing the plan, and the other 85% was working on people's heads to get them into a more positive mindset so that they would enjoy running more and be more accepting of where they were on any given day. A lot of runners, I work with a lot of older runners, and they keep focusing on how fast they used to be or what they used to be able to do instead of accepting where they are today. And then as COVID kicked in, it became more and more paramount to me about how negative people really view themselves in the world, and no fault to them. I mean, we are surrounded by media that's talking about all the horrible things happening in the world. And then the other end of the spectrum is social media that makes everybody else's life looks perfect. And that becomes a real challenge for you mentally about where you fit in the world and where your place is. And so people get really lost in what's happening externally. And when in fact, it's not really what's happening externally, it's our reaction to it.
Right. Wow. Wow. Awesome, awesome analogy at how you are currently looking at things. Let me say this before I continue, of course. We are honored that you have allowed the GMAP Broadcast Network family to be a part of your journey. We thank God for you. And of course, for those that don't know, you can stop by the GMAP Broadcast Network, gmap1.com. You're more than welcome to click on the tab that is titled Bookstore. And in our bookstore, as I mentioned before, on the split screen currently, you see a copy of the current publication that Holly has disseminated to the people. You can click on that cover. It will take you to the necessary location to find out more intimate details about the author as well as the publication. Now, Holly, I am grateful. Is this particular publication your first publication, or is it a follow-up to one that you've written before?
This is my first book.
Well, you have to be overwhelmed. You have to be excited. And of course, we are grateful that we can help you provide the information about the publication to people around the world. And of course, GMAP Broadcast Network, we're currently broadcasting in over 168 countries. We're coming off of our fifth straight Stellar Award nomination, averaging at least 11 to 1,200 people on a daily basis. And of course, we're just grateful for the 18 years plus that we have been doing what it is that God has blessed us to do. And we're like a kid in the candy store. We're just getting started. Let me ask you this. Now, I know there's going to be quite a few people who's going to want to know in detail about this particular publication. Of course, we don't want you to give the storyline away, but what's some of the quality information that you provide in this current publication?
Well, I think the most important thing is that we all every day have the right to choose whether we want to have a good day or a bad day. And a lot of people just don't cognizantly say to themselves, how can I make this be a really good day? They look at whatever their to-do list or their priorities or what they have to get done and everything they have to juggle. And instead of thinking about how they can make the best of it, they just kind of get caught up in being overwhelmed. And, you know, kind of with the COVID thing and all the negative messaging that's out there, it not really at anybody's fault, but if we all just stepped back and spent 5 minutes every morning before we got out of bed or while we were brushing our teeth and go, how can I make this day good? Or how can I make this day work for me? And think about the to-do list in terms of things going right instead of things going wrong or dreading them or being anxious about what you have to deal with or your boss or your work or whatever. And it becomes a much more living in the moment kind of thing. We can't bring back the past and we have no idea what the future holds. So why not just make the best of what we have right now?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I believe in my spirit, Holly, that a lot of times what we have to do in order to truly begin the process of course, make feeling good our priority is we have to learn how to forgive ourselves. You know, a lot of times over the years we do things that are disappointing. We disappoint people, we discourage people, we let people down, and then we hold that against ourselves. So one of the things that I must suggest to those that are tuning into this conversation is we must first and foremost learn how to forgive ourselves. And then I believe at that point, and they can incorporate every aspect of your publication at beginning to make themselves feel good a priority. Now, you know, I know there's going to be quite a few people out there that may want to, in fact, show their support by purchasing this publication, and we always encourage them to do so. What would be the process in order for them to get a copy of this publication?
Well, it's on Amazon.com and it's also on BarnesandNoble.com. So both of those are really easy, you know, direct shipping. And if you're a Prime member on Amazon, I think the shipping is free. But and I think it's nominal or free on Barnes and Noble. I haven't paid that close of attention to it. But and there also are Kindle options on Amazon. So if you own one, you can get the book for $6, and as a paperback, it's $13. And then if you are a hard copy person, it's about $31, I think. But the thing that my goal with the book is it has the opportunity to appeal to anyone who just in their heart thinks, wow, I'd really like to feel better. And even though there are my, own personal stories about certain milestones that I've had to overcome, it was always my desire that I wanted to feel good and be happy. That was a motivating factor. And it helped me get through 27 marathons. And I kind of said to myself at one point, how did I do that? I was not a super gifted athlete or born with great DNA or anything, but I figured out a way to feel good for as long as possible. And then by saying, okay, how can I feel good as long as possible? Looked at the various things that would help me feel good, nutrition, sleep, training, those kinds of things. And because my ultimate goal and motivation was to feel good, I was much more inclined to do those things, because when I started feeling better, the world was just a better place to be in. And I say to people, think about a day that went well. and your kids didn't bother you as much, your spouse wasn't as annoying, you got along with your coworkers, people who may have cut you off on the road, you have less of a reaction to that. And then all of a sudden something happens and there's a trigger, and then all of a sudden the paradigm shift starts working in the opposite direction. It's the law of attraction, of which one of my chapters is titled that when we can start manifesting more feel-good things in our lives, and it's really an individual choice. The book doesn't, I don't go in and trying to tell people what it is that's going to make them feel good. It's about hitting the pause button and going, whoa, I'm not feeling so good, or that really bugged me, what that person said to me. Stepping back and just going, how can I feel better? And it's very simple. And just even by me just saying that, kind of going from, wow, that person really irritated me, or said something that really hurt my feelings, and went, all right, acknowledge how you're feeling is the first and most important thing, and then go, what can I do to feel better? And it can be as simple as, I just need to take a walk and breathe, or maybe I need to write that person a note, or do something that resonates with you about what's going to make you feel better, not what the world thinks you should do to feel better. And when you start doing that, you start living a life that's true to yourself. And you start finding your place in the world of where you fit in, and it's all fine because you feel good about you.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that you're going to love every aspect of your life and that nothing's ever going to go wrong again. But when you just think about things that feel good and what that feels like, and there are various tips in the book, all pretty simple, none of which probably take more than 5 minutes, to sit down and go, wow, my day didn't go quite the way I wanted to. So do your gratitude list. Make a list of the things that you're grateful for. And all of a sudden, your whole mental personality shifts from what went wrong into what's going right in my life. And it can be very simple. I mean, I am grateful for that amazing cup of coffee and the smell of coffee in the morning, every morning. And that starts off my day. And then things just kind of build up from there.
Right. Wow. Well, wow. That is a great analogy once again. And of course, we thank God for your presence here. Now, I also know that there may be some individuals out there that may grab a hold of this conversation and say, hey, maybe I'd like to reach out and speak more, I guess you can say intimately with Holly Johnson, and more direct without everyone's attention. What is it that they would have to do in order to reach out and connect and or contact you?
Well, they can call me or send me a text, and my phone number is 941-350-9615. Or they can send me an email to Holly at Runner's Mindset, which is my parent company name for my book and my coaching business. And I'm more than happy to talk to people. I mean, this is my give back to help me feel good, because think about it, when you do something nice for somebody else, doesn't it feel good, particularly when there's no hidden agenda on it? I just became so disheartened with how unhappy the world is. And one of the statistics that I came across when I was working on my book, in a chapter that really talks about doing what you love and loving what you do relative to work, is 87% of Americans hate their job. I mean, okay, first of all, 87% is a really big number, and hate is a really bad word. I mean, it's not that they don't like their job or really enjoy it, they hate it. And so part of this is, again, making that paradigm shift, saying, okay, I don't love my job, but what do I love about my job? Well, it gives me great benefits. It puts a roof over my head. It puts food on the table for my family and my kids. It affords us a vacation every year, or even down to the little widget that you may be working on a conveyor belt or whatever, but without that little widget, that product of what's coming to market couldn't come to market without that. So you're actually a pretty important person in the whole scheme of things, because if that widget didn't happen, that product wouldn't happen. And then all these people would be living without something that they, believe enhances the quality of their life. And so again, it doesn't have to get super complicated. It's just a matter of making that shift and saying, I want to feel good about my life. I want to feel good about who I am, and what does that entail? And then you're working from a place of control and confidence instead of wondering what you should be doing because of what other people think that you should be doing.
Right. Wow. Well, let's just hypothetically speak and say someone walks up to Holly Johnson today and tap her on the shoulder and say, I appreciate the things that you're doing and the things that you've accomplished over the years, where you were, where you are. But what's next for Holly Johnson? What would your response be?
Another book.
Well, I guess that's simple enough.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, and I'm hoping that my book will help open some doors for me to be a speaker too, so that I can reach more people. And right now I'm focusing on marketing my book through social media and through my publishing company, which is great. But when you can start engaging and having some real interaction with people, even in a large group setting where they have the opportunity to ask you questions, and then I really feel like I'm making a difference. And I know from the feedback that I've gotten from the book of people who have read it, that it does make a difference in their lives, and that it's something that they kind of keep going back to. They're like, wow, my day didn't really go as well. God, what's going on? The law of attraction is working in the wrong direction. And you just go to the law of attraction book and read this incredible story about a friend and colleague of mine who had a friend who unfortunately passed away at, she was in her mid 50s, and my girlfriend's about the same age. And she thought to herself, her life was really kind of spiraling downward, almost at rocket speed. And she looked in the mirror and she said to herself, wow, isn't she lucky?
Well,
Took a deep breath and she said, wow, have you really come this far or gotten this low? And she goes, and she asked herself point blank, are you ready to give up? She said no to herself, looking in the mirror. And she was financially challenged. Her new marriage was challenging. She had gained a lot of weight. She was doing a lot of self-medicating with food. And from that day forward, the law of attraction started working in her favor. And every time she came up against an obstacle or a question whether she could do it or not, she said, why not?
Right. Wow. Amazing. And again, I can't thank you enough for allowing the GMAP Broadcast Network to be a part of what it is that you're doing, help put your information out there, disseminate your publication to people that may not have received it yet. Of course, we are going to always encourage people to visit your website. We're also going to encourage them, nevertheless, to stop by GMAP Broadcast Network. Go to our bookstore, click on the current book cover. It will again take you to the necessary location to find out more intimate information and details about the author as well as the publication. This conversation, of course, will be disseminated on platforms such as YouTube and Facebook, and of course our television broadcast platform, as well as re-airing here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. Holly, I am grateful once again that you have taken time out of your busy schedule on today to be with us, and we appreciate you. There's nothing that you would have to ask us twice if you need our assistance in any way, shape, form, or fashion. The door will always be open, and the answer will always be yes. We thank you today, and if there is anything that you would like to share with our viewers and listeners before we let you go, I'm going to move out of the way, and I'm going to say the floor is yours.
Thank you. Mostly, I just want everybody to know that you have the right and the opportunity to feel good. It's your decision to make every day. And again, there are very useful tips that people have told me are very useful in the book. And it's easy. It's a matter of 5 minutes. And if you think about, wow, if everybody in the world, or even 50% of the people in the world, spend 5 minutes every morning thinking about how they could make their day work and feel good about themselves, how much nicer the world would be. I mean, people who feel good about themselves don't storm capitals, they're not mass murderers, they're not violent people. And unfortunately, our world is filled with a lot of negative messaging, of which we have to decide whether we're going to let that affect us. It doesn't mean that it's going to go away, and it doesn't make it right or anything else, but we still have one life to live, and we might as well feel the best we can, because when we feel good, we're more generous people to the rest of the people in the world around us.
Amen. Well, again, we appreciate you sharing that information. We appreciate you being here today. And we also, once again, publicly and personally appreciate you allowing us to be a part of your journey. Featured author, GMAP Broadcast Network, Holly Johnson, we thank you, we pray for you, and we wish the best for you in the upcoming days, weeks, months, and years ahead. I want you to have a fantabulous rest of your day, and you continue to do what it is that you can to be a blessing to the people. Okay?
Well, thank you, Pastor Kevin, and I really appreciate the opportunity to reach out to your audience. As I shared with you, when you reached out to me, and I was completely flattered. I said, my dad must be out there, doing some kind of good law of attraction thing. And as I mentioned to you, he was a minister, so the faith element of that, and he always really believed. He said, it's not what you do inside of the church, is what you do on the outside. And so part of what my book is for, and in my own personal dedication, is to the spirit that he had about really living a rich and fulfilling life.
Amen. How to make feeling good your priority. We thank God for you. We thank God for your dad and incorporating in you the direction that you really should go in order to be a blessing to the people. Until next time, we want you all to be blessed and continue to be a blessing. Once again, don't forget to stop by the GMAP Broadcast Network, gmap1.com. Click on the bookstore, and of course, you will see a copy of the current cover that you see on our television screen here at GMAP Broadcast Network, and it will take you to the necessary location to find out more intimate information about the author, about the publication, and of course, to show your support. Until next time, take care, take it easy. If it's good to you, take it twice. God bless you, Holly. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Kevin. Bye.
Bye-bye. God bless you.